Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I see some familiar faces. It's so good to see some familiar faces. Hello, everyone. Let's see. Who's here?
Afternoon, Sis Precious.
Hi, Precious.
Ah, good Mpo, good Luyanda, Bonginkosi.
Afternoon, Sis Precious.
Hi, Precious.
So good to see you guys. I'm in Bloemfontein. Who's in Bloemfontein? No one is from Bloemfontein. Hi, Lindy. Hi, Nelson. Hi, Javi. Okay, hello, everyone. Puletso. I'm not sure who's this, who came with the Hawaii Y6S. Hi, Novisa. Hi, Pule. Hello, everyone. Oh, no, sorry. I wanted to call, I was supposed to call you, Luyanda, to just find out how is your son, and I never did. I'm so sorry. I should have called. But I hope all is well on your side. You in our prayers last week. Great. Entrepreneurs, hello. It's so good. We're finally on week 9. Okay, and it's presentation time. I really want us to trash this. I think I need us to practice what we preach sometimes and work through the stage frights and so I'm hoping that probably during the week next week you should actually be able to pitch. I'm gonna get some of the people from ABSA or any other fund to actually come and listen, and then you guys pitch your businesses so that you can practice. Is that okay? Or are you guys gonna freak out?
No, let's do it.
Yes, we need to be brave and just jump. So yeah, I'm gonna organize the pitching. But next week we have confirmed we are gonna have people from Profit Share coming and sharing their experiences, especially on short term, because they specialize on short term profit share. You can Google them up. They are also, I think, on your list of funders if you have done the search on the FinFund. What I have not been receiving, though, entrepreneurs, and welcome to those who are joining late, I have not been receiving a request from your side to say, Precious, here are the funders that I've dealt with, and these were my challenges. That I have not received. So I don't know, entrepreneurs, can you share with me on that? Do you have a list? Of funders that you have dealt with? I know, Lou, you were busy with others, but the process was not yet finished. So can I have maybe some feedback on that? It doesn't have to be now. It can be with Tsakan, and then we just want to know who has been your funder, because those are the people who want to call to actually then trash out whatever that was a problem. Yes, and Paul, please go ahead, my brother. Mpo, are you able to hear me?
Oh, yes, I was actually talking to a muted mic. Sorry. Thanks, Sis Precious. There's 3 funders that we have engaged recently, and we may still get feedback from some of them end of this month, which is November. But so far, what we've picked up when we engaged, some of them insist on audited financials and not reviewed. And they clearly say, if your financials are not audited, it's an automatic it's an automatic disqualification, regardless of, you know, whatever the business case you may have. So that is one of the challenges that that we have picked up, and also some of them, they focus on the historical performance to be able to make their decision, even if you indicate that the history was a learning curve, and this is what you've learned, and this is what you will implement going forward. It is still used somewhat to disadvantage an application for funding, because they want to fund something that is already working, which is, I think somebody mentioned it in the program, that funders just want a business that's running. They don't want a business that's, you know, that's not 100% smooth. Obviously, we know that funders are trying to protect their investments, but the view is that as an entrepreneur, you do trial and error, you go through to try and learn from practice, but that practice, if it's not successful, somewhat it's used to disadvantage an application. I can mention others, but for now, I think those two are the main ones. Thanks.
Do you mind to just share more on the others, because I'm making notes?
Yes, yes, Sis Precious. So the other challenge that also I've seen is the funders want to fund do I want to say a going concern or a highly liquid business? I mean, if you don't have enough cash to cover your operating expenses for 3 months, you know, your ratios are not, you know, okay, and you are regarded as a risk. But also, for example, some of the maybe ratios might be affected by shareholder or director loans, which one is prepared to subordinate that to the main funder. But the message is that your ratios, if they don't work out, you know, without engaging an applicant, it's easy to be disqualified without engaging to say, okay, how can we structure this? How about this? And then you are just disqualified because your ratios are not looking or are not ticking the boxes. Thanks, Sis Precious.
Thank you,
I don't know
Paul.
if you got. Okay,
Yes,
all
I
right,
got
thanks.
it. Let me allow Paul to go through also. Go ahead, Paul. Thank you, Paul. I'm making notes.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I think the previous speakers put it very well. It seems all the potential funders, or even if we still, if you are invited to go and pitch, like on Monday, I had an experience of actually going to pitch, like the Hollywood Foundation for whatever Mandela Awards. One thing that happened, one of the things that happened is initially we were told that our pitch is going to be 3 minutes.
Paul, your line is quite bad. Paul, your line is quite bad. There are people that are talking behind you. I think it's like a radio or something.
Yeah. Maybe read my comments, then I'll put my.
Yeah, put your comments. We will read it loud. Type it. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Okay, so Paul, let's talk about the ratios.
Yes, Sis Precious.
Okay, I'm gonna try to look at these things that and we're gonna need to work out a strategy on how we're going to deal with these three challenges. So challenge number one is requiring an audited financial statement when maybe you have an independent review, right? Because
True.
of the public scorecard that you actually have. And the funder now,
100%.
and the cost of doing the audit can be run as far as even 50,000, 50,000 rand.
True.
So I think we need to have some sort of a formal write-up, one, to the fund, those specific funders, and also to the, because I personally don't understand why will they not accept an independent review. I understand if it's a compilation, i.e. you did the stuff yourself. But if it's done by an independent reviewer, I don't understand why would they not accept that.
Yeah, same
So
here.
my suggestion, Mina, is that when they ask for that, you say, no, it's fine. We will make the financial statements available. I mean, the audited financial statements available when you have given us that you will fund us. So it's gonna be part of the course, it's part of your due diligence. Does that make sense?
Yes,
So
I
it's
hear
not a
you.
problem. We're open for audit. It's not a problem. It's gonna be part of your due diligence. It will be done during when you are checking your due diligence.
Yes. And some of these exceptions, I mean, for example, most of these applications we submit online or an email. You don't get to speak to somebody on the other side. My fear is if they clearly indicated on the application that an audit is an automatic disqualification, my fear is we might not even get to the stage where you engage on due diligence. If we put a write-up like that, for example, I mean, let's say we're talking IDC. How do you go and how can one engage?
Are you saying that this response, you are getting it from IDC?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we do need to also still do a write-up to IDC of that they are requiring additional assurance, which the Companies Act does not ask for.
Okay, all right.
We still need to
prepare
do
something.
something. Do you understand what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, I understand 100%. I'll prepare something and maybe share it with you. You can let me know if it's okay.
And
Yes.
we're gonna. That is why we wanna bring them on board. So that's why I said I need a list of the funders that you have attempted to try to raise funds with, so that we call them. Because you see, if I'd known, I would have gone to ITC and asked them to come here.
Okay, I hear you.
Sagana, will you please read what Paul has written?
Okay. Paul says the challenge is that funders want businesses that are already making money, like 100K and above. Even if they say they want SMMEs to pitch the outcome are always about how much sales you're making. They use things like audited statements because they're mainly not happy with the amount of sales and profits.
Yeah, we do need to make at least a minimum of 100,000. The problem is that if you are looking for funding and it's below that, it means the proof of concept is not there. That's why. So we need to figure out how to do a proof of concept using our own money or using the customer's money. That's what we need to figure out in our businesses. There is a few hands, Samke, and then I'll go back to Paul. Samke, please come through.
Hi, Sis Precious. I hope you well and everybody is well. So I just want to ask a quick question. So if it happens like you already have 100,000 in your account, but that 100,000 it's a lump sum that you invested into your business account. So let's say the accountant is auditing everything but now sees that lump sum, and you haven't make a proper profit on your previous transactions that you've made into your business, but the lump sum that you have is just there. So when you're applying for funding and they see that, are they going to question that lump sum or what's going to happen?
Thank you, Samke. Paul, your hand was up. Let me check your hand. Okay, so
It's an old
yeah, no problem. So Samke, they
Hello, Sis
the
Precious.
100,000 that they look at is actually a turnover. It's not a balance sheet. They just want you to see that is there an attraction onto your business? Is there a demand? Do you have customers? It's not on the balance sheet, it's not on your bank account.
Okay, now it makes sense now that you have explained it.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Samke, have you tried to apply for funding?
Yes, I've tried to apply for funding, but the fundings that I've been trying to apply to, they quite high now because previously I've been approved by, for example, NYDA, and they did grant me the funding. But obviously it was for the equipment. So now I've been trying. Let me be specific. I'm trying to apply at IDC, but now I see that they require me to have things like audited financial statements, management accounts, and their financial projections. So now I think I'm struggling to gather those documents, and I currently don't have an accountant to do those kind of things, such as auditing my financial statements, because I can't afford it. So now I think it's a barrier currently, but I think I will try to save up and see how much I can come up with, and um, look for an accountant to make the audit of the books of my company.
Samkele, what do you do?
I'm a poultry farmer.
Okay, so in the poultry farming, doing the eggs or selling the chicken?
Yes, I'm selling the chickens, not the eggs.
So the department, yes, agriculture, which province are you based?
Western Cape.
So Western Cape, they have a program for farmers, I think. So why can't you apply for, so you have equipment from NYDA, but
Yeah.
you still need help in relation to what? You don't have chickens.
No, sources precious. The thing is now I've identified a land to operate on because I want to expand my business. So now I want to construct a new chicken coop. So I'm looking for funding to expand and also construct where I'll be operating at.
How come the current operation cannot fund that expansion?
No, it's private. It's not from the Department of Agriculture or what.
You're not hearing me. I'm saying if you're already running a farm and you did get support from NYDA to buy equipment and stuff, how
Yeah.
come the current operations cannot fund the new expansion?
Okay, since the project will be quite big, so I can't really afford like those equipment and all. Hence, I'm saying I'm looking for funding. Do you get me, Mrs. Precious?
I get you, but it sounds to me you are automatically disqualified because you have not even made sufficient money from what you actually already have been given. My issue that I have is that you gotta need to demonstrate to any person who will come on your business to be an investor or being a funder that
Yes.
the money one that was used from NYDA, you did buy the things that needed to be bought, but the things that you bought are being used and they're generating money.
Yes.
And right now you cannot demonstrate that.
Yes. Okay, I'll be honest with you because I opened my business in 2020, right? So after I think after 3 cycles of my chickens, I paused the business. So the business account the business account that I was using, it also closed down. It was due to personal issues that I had. So I didn't operate the business for quite some time. So now, since I'm back and I don't have the records from, let's say, bank statements that I've been transacting on previously. Hence, now I'm saying it's going to be quite a challenge to prove to the funders that I have been operating my business, because now they want documents that are 3 months old, and I don't have them.
So what is your next move?
My next move is to expand now, because where I am, it's
So you
where
are not thinking. You can't expand because you don't have capital to expand. You can't access capital because you don't have the records.
Yeah. So the thing
I
is,
am asking you to be resourceful. I'm asking you to look at what you have right now.
Yeah. Okay, because now I'm trying to be transparent to you now, because currently I'm operating here for a limited time. So it's not for a long time. Maybe by March I'll be checked out where I'm operating at. Hence now I'm rushing to have like a proper place to operate on where it will be for a long time.
Sisamken, you're gonna have an egg and a chicken problem as to which comes first here. And I am saying to you, you can't raise capital right now. You don't have the financial statements, not even the audit. We are not even talking about audited. The current operation of the business that you are running now, how long you have been running that?
Okay, so I reopened my business in September.
It's only about 3 months.
Yeah,
Right.
because if you understand, so chickens they last for 6 weeks, so I have to wait for 6 weeks in order for them to grow, and I sell. So it's the profits, or let me rather say, the money that comes in, it comes for a season.
Your business is not sustainable and it's not gonna get the funding that you're looking for. What I want to find out from you is that from the current operation, how much do you make per 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 each cycle of the chickens that you raise?
Okay, so since I'm selling to informal traders, the profit that I make, it's approximately 21,000 per cycle, because I supply to them 300 chickens to those informal traders. So that's the amount that I make on average, because it's 300 chickens per cycle.
The 300 chicken per cycle, do you sell them within how long?
That week that I'm selling, after 6 weeks of the cycle.
So every 6 weeks you have 300 chickens.
On every, if that cycle is perfect, but on average I make 21,000. So if ever things go well, I make more than 21,000, or I can make less depending, because now the challenge that I'm currently facing is the load shedding. So the day-old chicks, they have to stay under the light throughout the night and throughout the day, and I use electricity. So sometimes, when it's load shedding, most of them die.
No, guys, can you help? I think this is an impossible dream. I want us to come up with solutions. They die because they can't feed, or they die because
No,
it's too
due
cold.
to
It's
due
too
to
heat.
insufficient lighting and cold use. But now the solution is the gas brooder. But now the gas is just another expense.
Sense.
Yeah.
But you see, you've spoken about the profit. You have not talked to me about revenue. First of all, also, I'm of a view that your cycle, how many cycles can you run in a year? I think you need to do that calculation. But focus on how much revenue multiplied by the number of cycles you're gonna have in a year.
Okay.
When you were doing the FinFund, did you do FinFund?
Yes, I did, but I didn't see.
Did it
I
give you
didn't
a
have
list
any
of potential funders?
No.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
you fall out of, you don't have the things. So my suggestion is the current infrastructure that you have, let's rather make sure that you have sufficient capital to get that going every 6 months. I mean, every 6 weeks. And I think if you can do that for the next 2 years, that will build up sufficient history. But now you're going to learn and grow from that. Because the problems that you are mentioning now about load shedding, all of that, that is a problem for everyone in South Africa.
Yes.
So coming up with solutions, you also have to think about, is this solution even sustainable? Do you have experience in chicken in raising chicken in poultry?
Yes.
Do you have a qualification?
Okay, so I have informal experience, and I did training at Elsenberg College. So it's just a 6 months course.
You need to keep learning in that in during this next 12 months to 24 months. But you have not proven yourself to be the best poultry firm in the world. And the only way you can do that is by reducing the vitality of your chickens, and also be able to overcome the challenges that we've just mentioned. There are several things that you can do. You can also go rural. The chicken, you have a schedule on when the chickens, when the electricity is gonna go off. Then build a fire or something, but you're gonna need to have a way of how you're gonna respond to these challenges. And that is what's gonna make you a real entrepreneur. But I think you're gonna need to give it another year so that you can build the history. Number two, I need you to actually use an Excel spreadsheet. I'm gonna try to find you an Excel spreadsheet, which you're gonna use to actually capture the information so that when you then appoint the accountant to prepare the financial statements, you have the right information.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Guys, Leander, please, can you talk now? Lou? Leander? Okay, Olela, please come
Yes,
through.
I can. Yes, I can.
Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead. I think you were speaking on a mute or something. It was quiet. So I thought you
Yes.
couldn't. Go ahead, Sisi. So you have applied, the rejection has been Spartan. Of course, Spartan, because Spartan targets a certain revenue. But I'm not sure why Sisfigile is a problem and Standard Bank.
So, Standard Bank, I had approached them and actually had a meeting with them and met with people from the Enterprise Development Division at Standard Bank. They flat out told me that there's no way that I would be considered for any sort of funding or financing because I'm at startup. And it was a very short meeting because it was booked for an hour. They dismissed me within 15, 20 minutes. They did not even want to assess my documentation and that sort of thing. So moving on from there, I then at least Spartan engaged and assessed my documentation. What Spartan actually said to me was, if I was at least generating revenue, they would certainly finance me, because based on my projections and my plans and in fact the pitch itself that I presented to them made sense from their perspective, and especially with the combined business or service offering that I'm providing, because what I'm trying to do is to generate diversified revenue, because because in the film industry it's almost like farming. You have to hello. Hello.
Okay, now what's the
Can someone please mute themselves? Thank you. Precious, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Apologies for that.
Okay.
He keeps on unmuting himself. So I don't know what's happening there. Please go ahead.
So Spartan had indicated to me that they understand the industry because they directly finance filmmakers. So they fully understood where I was coming from. The issue for them was the fact that I'm at startup level. And they said to me, once I get momentum and I get going, at least 6 months, I should then come back to them for them to assess if they can still finance either my projects, my productions, or provide me with working capital or even invoicing capital. And then after Spartan, but these were multiple submissions that I had done pretty much at the same time. So at the moment, I'm waiting for, before I move on, Sisfikile had said to me that they had already committed funds on other investments. So they were not in a position to extend or expand their portfolio. That was the feedback I received from them. They are already, for instance, invested with, is it Moja Love? There's a production that they are currently invested in, or a production company that does Moja Love, and some other program on Zanzi Magic. So they don't want now to start up a new one, as far as the feedback they gave me. But I'm waiting for feedback from IDC, NEF, and APSA. IDC called me today. They said they want me to pitch next week, Wednesday. They've already registered my application. So the media department at IDC now wants to hear from me what my pitch would be and what I'll be using the funds for. NEF, I had a conversation with them to follow up on my application. And the gentleman I had been talking to, Tabo, forgot his surname now, he wanted just to get an understanding of my positioning as a business. Because as he was going through my forecast, he didn't fully understand why I'm claiming I'm going to make certain monies when I don't have secured contracts. So I explained to him that what he said, I would need to have at least 30 contracts. So I explained to him that my business is not solely focused on contractual clients. So in other words, my business is a B2B as well as a B2C, because I am also going to be servicing consumers directly. So when I explained it that way, he then had a better understanding. But I then wrote an email, because we got cut off due to network, just to put the conversation on paper and for him to have a better sense of what I was talking about telephonically. And then also kind of resubmitted certain documentation that he didn't fully understand, such as my business strategy, because I was speaking to the strategy of how I'm going to be commencing my operations and how I'm going to be able to generate revenue and so forth. So NEF had said to me that their process takes about 3 to 4 months. So I need to then hear back from them to give me a sense of where we stand. And then with APSA, I spoke to Gabelo today from APSA. He's an enterprise manager. I had applied to them through the APSA Women Empowerment Finance product that they have, that is targeted at startups as well. So Gabelo has not been given feedback from the credit department, because I believe he submitted my application on my behalf to the credit department. But I then said to Gabelo, from a typical banking perspective, I'm not going to be financed by APSA, because APSA is going to potentially look at me from a traditional lens. What I need APSA to do is to look at me from an APSA Women Empowerment lens, or at least from an APSA Enterprise Development lens, because I know that the bank has that division. So he's now going to see if he can come back to me tomorrow, because I have to meet up with him tomorrow morning. I've moved, by the way. I was in East London, so I've had to relocate due to my I was planning to relocate to Johannesburg in any event, because that's where the business will be based. But I was not ready to move, but the move had to be forced because of my personal issues with my son and the case that I'm now involved in with his abuse situation. So I have now a meeting set up tomorrow morning with Gabelo at the Fourways branch. just so that we can, so that he can give me some feedback in terms of what the process is with ABSA enterprise development. So that's where things currently are at the moment with the applications. And then I've got an investor that I've been able to secure contractually. The investor is a Canadian investor who is in partnership with MasterCard Foundation. The challenge that I'm having, though, is that the money that they have committed to assist me with is not going to be nearly enough for my operations. It can only assist with little minor expenses such as Wi-Fi and traveling expenses, like petrol or things like that. So I've been engaging them to get a sense of what are the flexibilities do they have, because the money that they're going to be giving me will be a recurring working capital of about 1,500 Canadian dollars, which is about 20,000 rand. Now, my operating expenses are pretty high. So I've engaged them to get a sense of what flexibilities do they have in either providing me with a different funding for option, whether it's through equity finance or through a combination of equity and debt financing, right? So they did indicate that they have a limited budget at the moment, but what they are going to be doing is to be engaging their partners, because it's MasterCard Foundation and a couple of others, to see where they could potentially assist me, either through getting me to apply directly to their partners, or I don't know, or maybe even getting me in touch or putting me in front of investors, because I'm looking for international financing, because South Africa, from what I'm gauging with all the feedback I've been getting from everybody, is that startup and nobody's willing to assist. Now, the people that I've also spoken to that have rejected me on the spot have been people like Lulaland, what is it called? The Bridgemont. There's a lot of them, a host of them. Capital, what's the other one called? Capital something, I forgot now the name. But there's a lot of these guys that provide invoicing finance, or bridge finance, or asset finance, or even working capital finance. But a lot of them have flat out rejected me on the basis of the fact that I'm startup. So I'm really, really struggling to gain traction because I'm at startup level. They have indicated to me that some of them have said I need to be generating a turnover for at least 6 months for them to consider me. Others have indicated that they only finance businesses that have been operating for 4 years and longer. So it's that type of feedback that I've been getting largely. So a lot of them I haven't even been applying, because it's just a waste of time to go through the application process only for you to be rejected on the basis of me being a startup. So what I then do is that I just rather contact them, get a sense of what is it that their requirements are or criteria are before I even do a whole long process of an application. In some cases, the application process is not long, because you can do it on their websites. So they use AI technology to be able to give you prompt feedback in terms of whether or not you would qualify. So at least in certain cases, it's not so bad as far as the process, but I'm still getting rejected because the main thing for them is that I'm startup. Now, I've got 2 letters of intent from 2 customers. One is for a corporate customer called Petroco. They are an oil and gas company. They have a keen interest in hiring me to and giving me a 3-year contract where I can do their corporate content, which is their corporate video material, their training material, a lot of their branding and marketing and PR, corporate identity work. They don't have a brand presence externally at all. And because I have that background and I've included it in my service offering, they want a lot of assistance in that, because they have not been in the public space at all. So they've given me a letter of intent to indicate that they're interested in hiring me. However, the CEO that I've been engaging with has said to me that they have to wait for the next financial year in terms of budget approvals. So it's a case of now waiting for them to come back to me. But what's nice about them is that Petroco is also interested in potentially investing in my business, because I pitched to them and they were really keen on being involved with the one of my priority productions, which is a podcast production, because that podcast production is aimed at entrepreneurs, SMEs, and so forth, in me helping them as well. So they're quite keen in that, because they have their own programs where they support youth and they support entrepreneurs as well. I think it's part of their CSI initiatives or something like that. So they are very keen in hiring me, but also investing in my. I'm not sure if it's going to be the project itself or the business in its entirety. Then the second letter of intent is from a film studio with Sacred Pictures. Sacred Pictures does film studios and they do commercials. They've been doing commercials recently for H&M, BMW, just to name a few. And they have a project coming up, a film that they are looking to hire me for, I think, in the next year. I'm hoping in the first quarter. So they've also given me a letter of intent to basically see if that letter can assist me with some sort of finance as well. But as soon as their budgets are approved on their side, then they can hire me as the production company to come in and produce for them. So that's where I'm at in terms of any progress. And I've been able to launch my website as well for the business, because I didn't have one before. It's an interim website, and I say it's interim because I have not been able to put a lot of my information on there, because I need to be operating in order for me to generate content for the business and then be able to market it even better. So that's, I think, has been a really good progressive aspect on my side. Yeah, I think that's about it in terms of highlights that I can share of where I'm at right now.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lou. So the contract with the corporate client, why you can't still raise capital in terms of contract financing using that contract?
Because I don't have the contract yet. They've only given me a letter of intent.
Oh,
so ABSA, yeah. So ABSA,
Yeah.
for instance, was saying to me, it would have been great if Petroco could at least give me the contract. And the problem is Petroco is not ready to give me a contract yet. Neither is Sacred Pictures.
Okay. So then the contract financing falls away. Let's go back to that potential investor. You said roughly they can give you 200,000.
No, so they are going to be giving me 1,500 Canadian dollars, which is about 20,000 Rand, on a recurring working capital basis. The challenge that I'm faced with, in fact, I had a meeting with them to go through my budget, because they wanted to see what my summary budget breakdown looks like in terms of overall funding requirements. They understood that the 20,000 Rand is not nearly enough to assist me with a lot of my stuff, because just the premises alone are slightly higher than the 20,000 Rand in terms of rent. So what they've now said, look, they would like to see if they can at least raise the 1,500 Canadian dollars to at least $80,000. Which then would at least secure my equipment, because what I emphasized with them is the major priority for me to get any traction in terms of operations is to secure equipment. The equipment, I have received a quote from a supplier, Visual Impact. They also do equipment leasing alongside Panavision, Media Film Services, and other companies. But Visual Impact also does sales. So they will sell you brand new equipment that you need based on whatever your requirements are. The challenge for me is that I can't do rentals, because in any production, the highest cost on a production budget is equipment, crew, and catering. So I need to be able to secure asset finance for my equipment in order for me to avoid renting, because that's gonna create a loss for me in terms of revenue. And also, I need that equipment so that I can monetize my assets, because if I can at least have my equipment, I can at least start working, because I can monetize my assets, because there's a lot of filmmakers that are at my level as emerging artists, even the guys that are at a higher level than me in terms of operations. They can't always afford to hire the equipment from these rental housing places, because I mean, they will quote you 100,000 rands just for 3 days worth of shooting.
Yeah.
And
So
I've seen.
Hang on,
Sorry?
Leanne. Hang on. So this is the suggestion that I have. Let's look at you getting some sort of these film houses committing to actually hiring your potential equipment, even the letters of intent, to just give you an idea of the production line. It's almost like you pretend as though you've already got it, these equipments that you want, but you now are actually putting the flyers in to say or putting in some sort of the production plan, or saying that if I have this equipment, my next 12 months revenue will be this much for hiring out to these small film houses over the next 12 months. That on its own, if you can get some film houses to commit, I think you will then can use that. If then they get to pull that as a contract, then you can be able to raise funds for buying those assets, because you'll already have those small film houses as clients.
Are you saying, when you say film houses, I'm getting a bit confused. Are you saying like my customers, my target market? Because film houses already have equipment, so they wouldn't come and hire from me.
The ones that do not have, the one that
the filmmakers, okay.
Yeah, the filmmakers. If you can get the filmmakers and you fill up, you just you pretend you have all the equipment that you have, and then you go to the market and say, if I were to give you this equipment and I'm offering you this price, would you take that? Yes, no. Based on that, can we agree that there will be some sort of letter of intent? If you add up those as a letters of intent to buy, that should give enough comfort to NEF that there is, and you prioritize buying the equipment first.
Oh, okay, I hear you. So that's what I'm currently doing. That's actually what I'm busy doing, because the sacred pictures, yes, they want to hire me to be the producer, but they will definitely be hiring equipment from me, because they don't have all the equipment either, because they are also emerging filmmakers. And I'm literally, especially now that I'm back in Joburg, I'm literally going to the various filmmakers and crew people that I've worked with, reaching out to them to see who is currently needing equipment, so that I can then, because I've got a list of my equipment that I'm going to be buying. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm sending out that same list to say, this is my current asset registry. If you are in a position to be hiring, or if you are looking to be doing your productions in your pre-production phase, please have a look at the equipment that you need for whatever project you have and see whether or not I have what you need, so that you can then reach out to me and hire. So, and what I'm trying, that's currently what I'm in the process of doing, because my main priority is to secure the equipment. Because when in the discussion I had with NEF, Tabo, I said to Tabo, that, because Tabo asked me, how much do I need in totality, including IDC? I said to them, in totality, for everything to be secure, I would need over 9 million. But because I'm approaching different finances, a financier might say, okay, we believe we can help you in this area. Because, for instance, IDC said to me, we can help you with a studio, because they see that a studio is something that I need to have in my plan. So they can help me with the studio, and within that studio, that it means I can then include the very equipment that I actually need. So if IDC can actually approve my application, I wouldn't then need to go to other people, because IDC said to me that they're not going to finance me for less than R1 million. And with production studios, they're usually around more 10 million. So I said to them, in fact, my budget is just under 10 million, which is why IDC is engaging me. So, but I then said to them, because what I said to them, because they said to me, they won't finance equipment, but they can finance the studio. But because they can finance the studio, I can then include the equipment that I need in the studio.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think you are on the right path in changing the approach and approaching the filmmakers and building that customer base, so that you can then build up, when you are submitting, then you have a list. These are the potential clients, and these are the rates, and these are their letters agreeing to that. That will make me, as a funder who's giving you the asset financing, so separate the items, because that will then be asset financing. Thank you so much, Luyanda. Can I move to...
Thank you.
Thank you. There was a hand. The hand is gone now. Oh my goodness, I didn't make note of whose hand it was. Tsakane, did you see whose hand was it?
No, actually, I didn't see.
It's Temba. Please, Temba, come and ask. Temba Sekatu. I'm so sorry. I'm not pronouncing your name correct.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Precious. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
so you're asking for a
I
template.
lowered my hand. I lowered the hand because I was sending a chat message. Because what I'm asking is just simple. I heard you saying that you are gonna give someone here a spreadsheet to keep the record. Yeah, my problem always when I'm trying to apply for funding is management accounts. I've got financials from the accountant and everything I submit, but always when they ask my management accounts, I submit a normal spreadsheet that I keep for myself on a monthly. Probably that is not enough and is not adequate. And I tried, I think accountants, they are not willing to take you through to say this is what you should keep as your management accounts. I don't know why. I've been with several accountants and changing them, but they don't want to. They say no, this is enough for you. But so I don't know if you can help me with the template. My business is straightforward. I don't give credit or do anything.
What business are you in, Tim?
It's a hospitality. I've got a bed and breakfast, and recently I
problem.
extended.
No problem. I will design one, but I need you to
Yeah.
pay me.
You need what?
I need you to pay me.
Okay.
Okay, good. I will design your management accounts for you.
All
Ladies
right.
and gentlemen, management accounts are very easy to design.
I think most people saying that, but not being in any, not being an accountant and not having done the accounting, it's not easy. So I've done a spreadsheet, and my spreadsheet is exactly showing me my expenses, my income, but it's not enough. So I don't know.
Yes, that's not management accounts. That is not management accounts. So, you know what? Management accounts is supposed to include financial information. What we've just mentioned will be a financial information. It will be financial information and non-financial information. Temba, do you understand what I'm saying?
I do understand. I do understand. But you will send me the quotation to say when you doing the template for me.
And yeah, I think I'm gonna check. I think that it could be also even a client that I've done something similar. I will double check. If I do have a client that I've done something similar, I will not charge you. But if I'm gonna spend time on it, I will then need to charge. Is that fair enough?
Let's hope you'll find it.
Oh, people with free stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, no problem. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so but don't stress, you're gonna be fine. There's definitely help. Is there another person who there was someone that we skipped their comments on the top? Tsagane? I think there is someone that we skipped.
No, it's been comments. Just browsing quickly.
Okay, I think it's
no, it's just been comments. Tiba was the last comment that needed feedback.
Okay. Lebogang, you also having management accounts problem. What business are you in?
Oh, sorry, I've been muted. Hi, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm doing a poultry business.
Okay, so there's two people who are in poultry business in here. Okay, so you also are struggling with management accounts.
Yes.
Okay, Angati, we're gonna need to crowdfund this poultry business. So no stress. So once I've done for one, then it's sent to everyone.
Okay.
No problem. Okay. Lindy Kolela, your hand was up earlier. Can you also give me, I've made a list of the funders that we have had challenges with. So I'm gonna need to figure out the ones for the Lulaland, Bridges, Standard Bank. I'm not sure. I think the Standard Bank one, that's the only one that I feel Lou could have been assisted. But I also need to analyze Standard Bank is offering. I don't understand Standard Bank as much as I understand ABSA. So Lou just left, Luyanda just left. Okay, can Tsagane please SMS Luyanda ama details because she has moved here to Joburg. So Keletso
Okay,
is
I'll do so now.
to actually take it through the ESD program. Great. Xolela.
Thank you, Sis Presh. I am moving from risk management consulting space into agro processing. I have been applying for funds with ECRTA in the Eastern Cape because the main factory is going to be in the Eastern Cape, in Mdantsane, in the township. Now they've just asked that I must send fresh quotations because they've started a blended funding scheme with SIFA. They just joined forces with SIFA last month. So there's hope. The problem has been that I have not started. This is an idea. However, at least I've been saying to them, I will also contribute to show my commitment. I'm willing to sell my car to buy the equipment so that I can produce and be in the business, and then they can just assist me to scale up.
So let me ask you this: this agro processing that you do, you have customers?
I do have customers, yes.
So the customers have they signed a contract with you or even a letter of intent?
I'm pushing for contracts that will make me reach my break-even point. Because if I just take a letter of intent, it might not push me to sales.
Yeah, fair enough. But I'm saying a letter of intent is giving you a potential sales, potential buyers. How are you then gonna convert? Because I'm also asking you this because with funding, especially for something like agro processing, it's capital intensive, and some of the things that you are doing have a limited shelf life. So you're gonna need to be clear as to, in your processing, how long are you gonna take to sell and leading to then converting those potential buyers. I need you to focus on working on the list of the potential buyers, but getting them to either go as a letter of intent or a contract. But they are more likely not to give you a contract if they have not tested your product. It's still an idea. That's why a letter of intent should be enough for now. But is it possible for you to partner with a company that is already doing the agro processing of the stuff that you want to do, but you do it your own way with your own recipes, and then start getting clients?
One company that rejected the kind of partnership is in PE. There's none in East London. And the one that is in PE is producing for big retailer, Spar, not multinational, and it's covering the Eastern Cape region for Spar. But I'm not really worried about Spar because there are many other retailers. Okay. And retail is only 40%. 60% is not retail. It's other clients that I have that are not necessarily the value chain or the chain stores.
So can you look outside of the Eastern Cape for a potential part? Because I need you to validate your idea. I need you to validate your idea so that it's going to be easier to raise capital.
Okay. All right.
Do you understand what I'm saying and why I'm saying it?
Yes. I'm in conversation with another producer here in Pretoria for mentorship, so that when I start, I've got first-hand experience.
Perfect. Why can't you start with him and say, here's my recipe, would you have an NDA? And then say, here's my recipe, I would like us to produce this. this is how much I'm gonna contribute towards your cost, and I'm gonna then go and sell. And then you then go and start and get the samples, because I need you to get samples out so that you then get people confirming that yes, I
This
can
is
buy it.
quality. Yes, I would buy this. Yeah.
That is intention. Because
Yes.
from there, you then can use that to then confirm that the idea has been tested, and here's the list of people, and here's their ratings.
Yeah. I hear you. Thank you for that advice. I'm going to work on it and make it happen.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Absolutely not. That is good. Who else is online? I saw a hand. Okay, there's no more hand. Pindile.
Okay. Maybe just a follow-up question, Spresh.
Yes, please go ahead.
Now, you wearing a cap of a panelist or a panel of investors, would you, or do you always want letters of intent, or contracts to prove or to match the sales estimates?
No, they don't need to match. No, they don't need to match. First of all, the contract is better than the letter of intent, but a letter of intent is also better than nothing when the idea has not been tested.
Okay.
So I am throwing you on the testing part, because it is the testing that comes first. Then someone say, I'm interested, I have a potential to be interested. And then someone say, I want it. So it's a process.
Okay.
And especially as a newbie, you definitely have to go to the market. Let the market confirm that, yes, we want to buy this. Yes, we want this.
Okay.
Because when you have those samples with you, and you go to the retailers with those samples, and they say yes, no, and you are producing this on a plant that has already got Department of Health certificate and stuff like that, it helps you to build a customer base. I promise you, once you've got it, guys, those of you who are struggling with raising capital is because you don't have customers, or you cannot prove that there is a demand for what you want to offer. Until it's similar to what I was talking to Luyanda about. I hope you see the principle. Even with Luyanda saying, go and find the small film houses that needs equipment. I'm doing the same thing with you. Do you see that? It's the same principle.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's fine. I'll take the mentorship opportunity so that I can learn and then gather my customers from there, do my samples, get out there and market myself.
Perfect.
I'll do that. Thanks, man.
It is Pindile, your question, Pindile, I'm so sorry. I was supposed to have seen you last week. My weekends are bad, like literally so bad. So I'm so sorry. I should have come back to you. I've been so busy. Pindile, I'm gonna send the list direct to me, not to Denise. If you can, I'm sorry that I haven't seen it, or I have not checked my emails. Send it direct to me. I need me and you to talk. Me and you and Nelson needs to talk more often, but I've been talking to Nelson quite more often. Pindi, let's talk offline. Okay. Lebogang, please come through.
Okay, thank you so much. My request or my question is based on, okay, I'm running a poultry company that supplies day-old chicks And also we sell to our secondary production where we grow the chickens. So, and then those chickens, we supply them live and also fresh. Now, my business most is based on B2C. I don't have any letter of intent in place. So I'm asking myself, how do I get a letter of intent from the B2C? Am I the one to draft it and give them to, how do I go about?
Okay, so first of all, you're gonna need to take your full 12 months plan and your cycles of these different products that you have to be able to then use for the projections. You start by analyzing the past 12 months and then ask yourself, for the next 12 months, how am I going to improve my business so that whatever that were issues in the last 12 months, in the next 12 months, you can actually build on. I don't know if that makes sense. So let me start afresh again. So take the last 12 months and analyze it to find out, based on your period, on your cycles of your product offering, how much you're gonna make. That is what you will use then as your sales projection. And it is your sales projections that you will then raise capital on. You won't be able to raise a contract-based finance. You will raise a general business loan. A general business loan will cover both asset and also working capital. Maybe also, Lebogang, try to analyze why your business is unable to do what? To raise raise its own capital. So that's when I say analyze the past 12 months, check, did you generate enough profit? Did you even reach a break-even point? Why are you unable to actually get money from that 12 months to finance your business? Do you know the answers to those questions?
Yes, I know the answers.
Give me the answers then.
Okay. With the profit that I've been, okay, I make revenue and then I minus the cost of sales. Yeah. Then I get my profit. So with the same profit that I get, I reinvest it back. So I increase my capacity. Say, for instance, when I started at the beginning of the year, I was raising 500 chickens per cycle.
Yeah.
But so with the profit that I would get from that 500, then I increase it to say 600 or 800.
Now, how many now are you running? When did you start?
My primary focus was hatchery, which is producing the day-old chicks. So okay. From the beginning of this year, then I also started with the secondary production, which is raising the chickens. So primary production, sell to the secondary, and then we raise those chickens. So on the secondary production, I increase my capacity like every month or every second month.
Okay, so where then do you see the capital need?
The capital need that I have is buying my own farm because currently where I am, it's a lease.
Okay, so right now you're leasing, you wanna buy your own farm.
I want to buy my own farm so I can be able to put on permanent infrastructures.
Or the structures that you have is not permanent?
No, it's for the owner. So, and then I'm also not able to put my own on their property.
Okay, fine. So what's the capacity of the current lease? what's the capacity of the place that you are currently using?
The full capacity is 3,000, but currently I'm using the 2,000 range. 2,000 capacity. Reason being, I was experiencing a lot of theft. So what I would do with the rent that I'm supposed to give them, I would then utilize it to put more security.
Okay, so you currently are running, you have access of running a capacity of 3,000, but you are only
Yes.
running it as 2,000.
Yes.
What's your break-even point?
Okay. On every cycle, it differs. Hence, I said in the beginning I started with 500, but now I'm at 2,000. So the total revenue that I get is sorry for that.
I don't know, I lost you there.
So the total revenue that I make is 130,000 per cycle.
Okay.
Then I would minus the cost of sales, which is about 50,000 rand.
Okay. And how many cycles do you run per year?
10 cycles.
Okay, great. I think we need to drive for you to increase the capacity to 3,000. And we need to actually go through your financial statement and analyze the financial statements and your report. Can you send me your financial statements? Then I will try to make time to analyze them further. I think there is money somewhere because you are making more than enough profits, so that this is actually financial viable. But I also am wondering who is in your list for funding. Did you do the FinFund?
No, I didn't do it.
Can you please do a FinFund, because the FinFund is going to give you the list of the funders.
Okay.
Please do the FinFund. It's going to give you a target list of the funders. And then I need to review your financials after that. Did you attend the session with Nomvuyo on your business plan?
Yes, I had my session with her this afternoon.
This afternoon, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
This morning, actually. Yeah.
Okay. And then you have things that you need to work on with her.
I have things that I need to work on, yes, on my
Can
business.
you work on those, but in the meanwhile, send me your financial statements.
Okay.
Okay. And then we will take the rest of everything else offline. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
But now my question was, how do I get the letters of intent from my clients?
A letter of intent. You don't need a letter of intent, I did say, because you are not this is not B2B, this is B2C.
Okay.
The only thing is the sales projections, which we're gonna need to first check, analyze the past 12 months, and then we will then prepare the next 12 months projections, which is gonna be coming from your business plan.
Okay.
Great. Where are you based?
I'm in Pretoria North.
Oh, okay, great. Okay. Are there any other questions? I see we've lost quite a lot of people. Vuyo, Gumede, hi. Nikki, Sabelo, guys, you are not saying anything today. Jabol, Prudence.
Hi, Precious.
How are
It's
you?
just that we are not shedding. I'm fine, thanks yourself.
Great. Okay. How did the session go with Sis Nomvui?
I had a session with Sakane yesterday.
Okay, your line is bad. No problem. Let's talk offline then. Okay. Okay, let's talk about pitching. Who's ready to pitch next week? Do you guys have questions about pitching? Maybe
Yes, I do.
Yes, please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. I had my session with Sis Nombuyo this morning, and I was also giving her feedback on. I recently had a pitch session on Monday and Tuesday on the Hollywood Foundation, and unfortunately, I did not make the cut. There was a top 30 and top 3, so I wanted to do some polishing up, and then we looked at how. Okay, we discussed on how my profit was not clear on how it's generated and so forth. So I actually do need some polishing up on my sessions because I have everything on business plan, and I think I need to also find a clear projection on how to work on the numbers, because on my business plan I have a funding request of an amount, but I just need to go back to it and put like balance the amounts together, because on some activities were left out. I think those are the kind of things that let me down during the session that I'm coming from at the Hollywood Foundation. So, and then I need that too, so that on the next pitchings I'll be better and I'll be able to obtain the funding that I requesting.
Okay, perfect. So you had a meeting with Nomvuyo. There are things that you need to improve on, and then you will then update your business, your pitching. So you will be ready then next week to pitch.
Yes.
Okay. And then I see Paul is saying he's ready to pitch. Great. Njabulo says, good day, I'm waiting for my session so that I can be sure of what needs to improving. Please talk to Tsakane and Nomvuyo on that. They will organize a session with you. Great.
Okay, can I ask?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. So I wanted to know on the I think my business is a startup. I'm currently still generating under 100K a year. So I've experienced that when we do the funding ask, it seems as if these investors or government agencies are funding in people that are already established. They are looking into expanding. And in my case, I'm still growing. I'm trying to grow the business. So somehow I feel like somehow these the businesses that are still growing are somehow left out. So these funders are looking at the huge impact that these businesses can make, because we come across somebody that is already generating over 1 million a year, and they just want at least 700,000 to expand this and that. And yeah, so I understand that they have a great impact in the economy and the community. So is the small businesses though, the growing businesses, because in my business also I make chili sauces, and then I also make it available for people to purchase in bulk and resell and make a product. So that is a social impact that I'm making within my community, empowering people to at least have an income generation activity that are involved in. So I wanted to know if maybe there is a specific on where to go exactly as a small business like myself, because it looked like maybe I went into where I was not meeting the criteria or something like that. So I don't know if you can assist in that case.
Okay, so I personally think the businesses, the places, Mina, that I have found, they have customized their offering has been apps. So I would like you to recommend that focus on what apps I can provide.
Okay.
In terms of offering on startup funding. But I also want to say our DFI, CFA, CEDA could also be a potential for you. I also, the biggest challenge we have is that as a startup, you do not have enough track record to show that this is financially viable. That's the only thing. If you can prove that, you'll then be fine.
Okay, and then with ABSA, it is going to be a loan, because currently I do have a relationship with CEDA, but they're providing a non-financial assistance, just with maybe getting
Yes,
certification.
So it's gonna depend. What are you looking for when a prudent? If you are looking for an asset, I will say ABSA is not your best. Go and check from the manufacturer of the asset you wanna buy. Generally, they will have funders in-house. If you are looking for a short-term funding, rather look for a revolving loan or a credit card or a overdraft.
Okay,
So
thank you. That will
what
assist
are
me a
you
lot.
looking for? What are you looking? Are you looking for short-term or long-term?
I think for now, for a short term, because I'm already operating, I'm looking into growing the business. I can get that funding, the short term funding to grow the business, and then as we
what
will
are
be
you gonna buy?
function.
What are you buying?
I want to buy an industrial blender for now, because I know the large.
What you are saying is not gonna work. If you're buying a blender, which means it's a long term, because you're gonna use that blender for more than 12 months, right? Then you're looking for asset financing. However, if you're saying, Precious, I have clients that maybe are not paying me on time, or I have suppliers that I need to pay and I have a cash flow problem, then I will say, okay, let's analyze your working capital so that you know how much you need. But also, let's put some credit insurance in place so that if next time the customers don't pay you, you will get some of your money back from the insurance. Do you understand what I mean? So maybe also you, after you have seen Nomvuyo, have a session with me with your financials, then I will give you the strategies on where you're gonna need to raise your capital. Have you done your list with FinFund?
I think it was not really completed.
Please complete that, because that also will direct me as to who should we shortlist for funders for you.
Okay.
Okay, and then contact me on the side. Thank you, but there seems to be quite a bit of work from your side. Come through, Paul. Hi.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Paul. Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I think the other option that my colleagues on the platform should consider, especially for us startups, try to consider enterprise supply development, option, because mostly they are not that strict in terms of, because it seems from all of us, being startups is a challenge, and most of the funders do not want to assist us, with that business. So on the ESG, like you go to the not the ESG of the banks, because I don't know much about the ESG for the banks, but more of a company, approach the company, maybe like, for example, I'll give you a good example. We approached a company, right, and said to them, look, we want you to assist us with ESG funding for our sachet material and the packaging of our product into a sachet. So they're paying for the artwork, they're paying for the package, for the filling in of the sachet and the material for the sachet and everything. They're not giving us cash. They are giving us the things that we need, which is a filled up sachet and that we can take to our customers. So that also could be an angle to say in your industry, maybe as an individual company, try to look at which put like in the same way that exercise that you said we should do to list the group of whatever funders that we might potentially want to approach. We can also maybe try to do the same and say which maybe 5 or 6 or whatever number of companies that have got an ESG program that we can go and approach on an individual basis to say, like, for example, somebody who's maybe, let's say, who's maybe making chili sauce. They can go to a company that makes plastic containers for their product and say, can you please maybe help me with your ESG funding for maybe 500 or 5,000 bottles, So most of the companies, they would agree probably on the basis that, because when you ask for money, people now want you to do projections, want to do this and that. There's quite a lot of requirements that some of us as startups are not probably going to be able to meet. But if you ask them for the particular item that you need, maybe like 5,000 bottles or whatever bottles, like in our case, we ask them to say, can you do ESG or we want 1 million sachets? So they said, okay, it's fine, we can do that. So per quarter, they give us, like, we tell them, okay, we need to do how many, sachet and stuff like that. Then they deduct from that 1 million that they had agreed to an extent that they even say to us, okay, instead of doing 1 million, we will take part of the budget and buy you raw materials for your product so that at least you have got raw materials to start. So I think that's one angle that my colleagues should really look into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul, for the suggestion. Please mute. The challenge though is, I think you were lucky. I do believe you were lucky to actually have found someone who will do that. Sometimes it's even knocking on those doors. I've been struggling to find a printer to print my books on the ESD side. Yes, because most of my books, I give them away for free anyway. So I don't have money to print. So I was looking for the funder to actually buy or to actually print for me. Yeah, it's difficult to get into those doors, but I guess you have to start somewhere. We will follow up and do, but it just takes too much effort sometimes than just you going out there and raise the capital yourself. But I hear your suggestion. I used ESD before to test my ideas, so that because I'm gonna pitch my product, my services, to confirm that. So that helped a lot to refine what is it that I was offering. Do we have any other comments? Let's talk about, where do you need help in your pitch? Okay, we're gonna then close. If there is no other questions or comments, we're then gonna have to close because there are people.
Sorry. I've got a question around
Yes.
the pitch. So how long is the pitch supposed to be? My colleague that spoke about startup funding, I think we're together at the Bambelela Awards, and we were messed up with the pitches. We were initially we were told that we are supposed to pitch for 3 minutes, and then Chigi, teachers who out of the blue said, no, you guys have to pitch for 1 minute, 30 seconds, And I was so unfortunate because I was actually the second to pitch. And after I said that, then he called the first guy to pitch, and I think they have time to adjust my pitch from 1 minute to, from 3 minutes to 1 minute, 30 seconds. So maybe if you can try and guide us, so how long should be our pitch on next?
Okay, so the funders usually will give you the time, the spec of the time, over to how long they want you to pitch. I recently pitched also with Marcella's Women Creating Wealth program. I tried by all means to be at least 2 to 3 minutes, my pitch. They had said 5 minutes. So I wanted to finish quicker so that I'm used to speaking. But at some point when I was being coached, they indicated that I was too fast. So I think it's better before you go and prepare the pitch, the presentation, ask them specifically, how long is the time they're giving to you? And use that time for you to pace yourself, Do even a recording of yourself doing the pitch, and then listen to yourself and pick up where it's not clear enough, or like I found myself, I was stumbling, I was not flowing. And I realized I had not practiced enough. If then the pitch is made to be shorter, Paul, in the last minute, for whatever reason, you can still pitch, but the best way of doing that pitch will be to focus on what? Problem. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to tell you just now. It's going to focus on the problem, solution, right? Problem, solution, the market size, and you skip everything, then talk about revenue that you're going to generate and the ask. Do you understand what I'm saying, Paul? So you don't have any more time. They have cut the time. They're saying now it's 1 minute. You then say, this is the problem. Why this problem matter? Here's the solution. What is the market size? Because market size is important because it tells you what the opportunity. And then you then say the revenue that you are projecting on this and how much do we want? Is that
Honestly,
okay?
I covered that. Honestly, I covered that on my pitch. I think my colleague, she can vouch for that. I covered that. But like I was more asking about the pitch for next week. Since you're saying, you have to ask them.
Yes. But now I will give you the
So how
instructions.
long is our pitch?
I will give you the instructions. And the instruction is gonna be based on those funders that I'm gonna be in contact with, on how long they want the pitch for.
Okay, thank you very much.
It's not gonna be based on me. So your pitch deck, guys, should cover 10 things. Number 1 is the introduction. That's gonna tell the people who you are and why are you here. You might actually just not even say why you are here, right? You just introduction. My name is Precious Mvulane. I'm here to present student accommodation because that was my pitch. And then number 2, I then articulated the problem. What is the problem? For me, I'm targeting student accommodation in rural areas, in where there is a higher education institution that are built without having sufficient living accommodation. And then I articulated and referenced the study by the International Finance, IFC, I think, operation, and which was indication that we are in short of 500,000 beds. I then went on and said the problem is getting bigger because population growth, plus also the numbers now are above 550,000 beds for 2023. I then, on that, you then have to provide a solution. In that solution, you gotta need to also keep in mind the competition. So in mine, probably I need to improve on that one. I need to show what is the current solution versus my solution. And then you need to show some sort of a picture of how your solution looks like versus, so that the funder can see it, that your solution is better than what is currently happening in the market. You then need to focus on the growth and the goals that and the steps that you're gonna take, which now talk to the traction, how you're gonna get people on your sales funnel. So that part still needs some work on my part. Then the team, then the financial, the competition, then the financial. So the competition is just showing who is providing that solution right now in the market. Please, you don't provide someone who's not your competition. Make sure it's a competition that someone is directly in terms of the competition. And then you then have financials. On your financials, have revenue and cost, and then also then your ask. And in your ask, mention if you are willing to actually offer equity. So in your ask, say, I am raising debt and also I'm raising equity. So you are interested in both. If you are looking for both, if you're looking for only debt, also mention I'm only looking at debt. So that is important. It's all so quiet, guys. No questions. Do you guys have any questions? Yes, Mpo?
Sorry.
Yes, it's Precious.
You said 10, but you mentioned only 7.
Oh, apologies. It is 10. It's definitely 10. So 10, number 1 is introduction.
Hello?
Hi. Viela, number 1 is introduction.
Yes.
Number 2, it is the problem. Number 3, it is the solution. Number 4 is the market size and the opportunity. Number 5 is the product. Number 6 is traction. Number 7 is introducing the team. Number 8 is the competition. Number 9 is financial statement. Number 10 is the investment that you are looking for. It's your ask. In your ask, make sure you separate the debt versus equity.
I just wanted to understand when you say, sorry for not raising my hand.
Thank you.
When you say differentiate between your debt and equity.
Yeah.
I want to understand that you mentioned that you actually looking for a loan or you want in the form of an equity.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to mention that.
Okay.
To mention that so that the funder knows that if they feel maybe the risk is too high, they will rather own an equity, then they can offer that.
Okay. Thank you.
And Lebogang, there is a question, or is it Lebogang is Prudence? Prudence is asking me the stuff that I'm mentioning. Do we have a copy of what I'm reading from? Yes, you guys do have a copy. It's on your notes, on your lecture notes. And then all I've just done, Prudence, I've just summarized what is on your lecture notes. Do you want me to have a checklist for you? Paul is saying, how do you determine?
No, it was for.
Yes, please.
Mpo is asking, how do you determine equity versus debt. Now that is where the pudding comes in. If for example, you don't have enough contribution, you don't have your own cash, you don't have sufficient cash, it's always advisable to actually offer equity. But if you have cash, you have put also you have a contribution that you can make, then you can just ask for debt only. So that's a general rule. Yes, Njabul, I would like you guys to pitch to different funders, but that is why I wanted you guys to, one, we review the business plan. Number two, I see those pitches. So I can only see the pitch afterwards. So I want to see the pitch presentation, and the pitch presentation, I want to see it on in your presentation format. So I need you guys to submit that. That's your assignment, because we're gonna check that. By the way, out of what, 80 participants, only about 13 that submitted business plan. That's a big problem for me. That's a really big problem. So we're gonna need to get this thing going. Okay, Pindi, say, how do you determine the ratio for equity? So the ratio is usually is 2:1. That is the ratio, i.e. equity is 2 and then debt is 1. Okay. Ampo?
Yes. Now, if you are asking for 500,000, how do you determine how much equity you can offer? Yes, you don't have cash to contribute, but you want 500,000. Should you offer 10%, 30%? How do you get to that?
500,000 is too little to give equity.
I'm just making an example.
Yeah, the example is a bad one. So maybe let's say 5
You're
million,
right.
right?
Yes, let's go for 5 million.
Let's go for 5 million. So you are saying for 5 million, you're asking how are you going to determine how much to give as an equity, how much you give as a debt?
Yes, and even if there's no debt, just the equity to the funding, how do you determine the relationship?
Okay, so first of all, equity, you value the business. When you go to the market, you value the business if you're going to offer equity. So let me just make an example from my business. I have already bought the land. I've already, I'm now raising capital for building. So I'm already showing the funder that, you know what, I've already put my skin on the game. I've put whatever amount onto the deal. And I am funding some of professional services to get this thing going. I am then now saying to the funder, I am willing further for you to come in as an investor, not as a financier, as an investor. And if then they say, okay, and then I then will say, okay, at that time, let's value the business. Okay, versus how much they're putting in, versus how much I'm putting in, versus on the time, what are they giving? Are they giving their skill, or are they gonna give money, or what exactly do they wanna give? So it really depends, Paul.
Okay, all right. I was looking at some of the tools like the life plan and so forth, thinking maybe as you do your forecast, it might even do things like discounted cash flow, because if you look at net asset value, there might not be much value in most startups, but
Yeah.
maybe on the discounted cash flow, there might be value.
No, on a startup, there isn't much. So you don't want to put yourself in a corner, right? You don't want to put yourself in the corner. You rather say at the time of a deal, let's determine how much you want and let's value the business. And you see, with me, if I say let's value the business, I'm also going to take into account the time that has led me to this point of building up to this deal. So that's how you should work it out also. Because there's a lot of cost that is not added in. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna, the stuff that I was sharing with you guys, I'm gonna share it now on a notice board for us. So those who didn't get the notes, okay, I will add it on a notice board. There we go. Got it. Yeah, okay. There was a session that we did with Dagmar. So yeah, okay. So please go through that also. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, you are ready. You're ready. You're getting ready. It's so hard, Remember, I said I'm doing it with you when we started this program. Mpo, do you remember me saying that?
Yes.
So I did submit to ABSA my application, and I separated my business. I only just did an application for publishing. So we have submitted already. They then came back and they gave us a long list of things they need after we submitted a business plan. So we are now revising that business plan and the information, and we're gonna package it and then send it again. So it's a long process. We need to follow up with NEF, and also those are the places that we were gonna, because you have to screen your funders also. So hey guys, I know it's hard, that's for sure. So I'm pitching NAMI, probably I think tomorrow, I'm pitching tomorrow to the Women Creating World. So I'll let you know how it goes. So I've already passed the first round because I was pitching on to coaches the other day. So I did pass the next step. So tomorrow I'm pitching to the investors direct. So wish me luck. Yeah. And thank you so much for your patience. Pindile, let's talk offline. Yes, we can request. A Dagmar had, first of all, I want you to understand, creating a business plan. Pindile, can you come through?
Hello.
Hi, so Pindile,
Yes.
my suggestion is that do the strategy and then send the strategy with all the information you've done that you have reviewed for Dagmar. And Dagmar's team can then do a quotation for you to do the business plan. Nami, the business plan, your publication, I did the strategy and some items of the plan, but the rest of the actual business plan, I didn't do.
You mean the one-page strategy that we've done and submitted?
Yes. Yes.
So I can submit that to Dagmar.
Yeah.
Okay.
So send a staff to send a request to Dagmar. She gave you guys a code that you will get a discount. Remember,
Yes, that was for a review of a business plan. But
if
now
you
I
use
need
that
a
even
full.
for financial statements, even for the financial statements, you use that code. I mean,
Okay.
sorry for the business plan, apologies. For the business plan, you ask for that code. And some of you need accounting, the financial statements. We will also find you your local accountant. Just tell us which area you're at, and then we can build the relationship with, if we don't have someone.
Okay, thank you.
But the work that you submitted stuff to Nomvuyo already, Pindin?
No, it's because my business plan was not complete. Due to that, I don't have the financial model. I didn't know how to go about starting it. So, but the other parts I've just done it. I have just to complete it and put all the meat on the business plan.
Financial model for a mall.
Yes, I don't have that.
Yeah, we need that. Okay, so I also need a financial model for student accommodation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We let's crowd finance that, Pindi.
Pardon?
Let's crowd finance it.
Okay.
Offline, my dear. I'm so sorry I didn't see you.
Okay. Thank
but
you.
we'll make a plan. Okay. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much.
It's so good to see you guys. Please keep on working. We need to see more business plans so that I need at least 20 business plans. So I'm missing 7 business plans right now, because at least I can take some of those with the pitching and go to NEF and ABSA. Please, thank you so much. Bye.